Hi everyone, I'm Gavin from littlegreenworkshops.com.au and today we're making blackcurrant licorice soap. Okay, so first up we're going to measure 30 grams of water just for the titanium dioxide. Oops, way too much there. Let's just tip 5 away. Right, it's 28. There we are, there's 30. So I'll take 30 off my allowance. So I need to go down to 310. There we go. Alright, and just measure out our sodium hydroxide, or caustic soda as it's better known. We want 129 grams. There we go. Okay, so because I need this to cool down, I'm going to just mix this together now, because I need it to cool down to between 40 and 45 degrees C, because initially it starts off pretty hot between 80 and 75 to 80. So let's just start the reaction off. Hopefully the steam doesn't come my way. So you just stir until the crystals are dissolved. There we go. So I'm going to set that aside now and let that cool. I'll keep my thermometer in there just to let me know. I'm using a glass thermometer, and that'll let me know now. In the meantime, I'll measure out my oils. So I'll measure out my olive oil. I need 250 grams of olive oil. That caustic soda's gone up to 75 degrees. Anyway, 250 grams of rice bran oil. And 100 grams whoops, wrong one, 100 grams of sunflower oil. And last but not least, we want 300 grams of coconut oil. Now this is still fairly mushy, so I should be able to get 300 grams out to take me out to 900. There we go. Now there was a little bit too much there, so I will just take out 8 grams. It's pretty hard to gauge. There we go. So we'll just stir that so we're combined. So the coconut oil is still a solid, but that'll soon melt with the residual temperature of the lye water, so it's no big deal. Right. That's all fine. Let's get that out of the way. Last but not least, so we're going to colour this with some titanium dioxide, just as the base colour. So we need a tablespoon of titanium dioxide, just a level tablespoon into our water allowance there. That was our 30 grams of water, which also happens to be 2 tablespoons. So just give that a good mix. There we go. Now all we have to do is wait for the caustic soda to cool down. Now this may take some time, we're at 70 degrees now, so I'll see you soon. Okay, so the lye water's down to 45 degrees Celsius, which is where I want it at. And the reason I wanted it down so low, because normally I just pour it straight into the oils just to help the coconut oil melt, is because I'm adding some yogurt. And the reason I'm adding some yogurt is because I read we're having trouble with these molds, because on the first day it's too soft, the mixture we're using, the oils, because we don't use palm oil, which is a hardener. So I read somewhere that you can use sodium lactate to add a couple of teaspoons to your soap batter, and that will harden the soap batter and you'll be able to get it out a lot easier on the first day. Now, my method in my madness, and I've read a little bit about it, is that I'm using lactic acid, which is in the form of yogurt, adding it to sodium hydroxide, and I'm going to get sodium lactate, or there will be some of it in there. Anyway, so let's try that. So there will be a very minor chemical reaction. So I need 2 teaspoons for the 900 grams of oils that I'm using. And I'll give that a good stir. So make sure that's all thoroughly mixed. The reason you add it at this low temperature is because you don't want it to burn. At those really high temperatures, the yogurt will burn, it'll go brown and make the lye water brown. So that's the last thing we want. We don't want the burnt smell in our soap. So that hasn't burnt, that's perfect. And that's still quite warm. That'll be warm enough to melt the rest of our oils. So that's a good combination. Let's get that out the way. Let's get this back where it needs to be. So I'll pour the lye water into my oils. That all in there. Give it a stir now. Hopefully that'll melt the rest of the coconut oil. Which it has done, which is good. Let's give it a good stir until I can't see any more of the coconut oil. And yogurt has actually lightened the oil mix a little bit more too, just a little. Now hopefully that has made enough sodium lactate to harden the bar in the first 24 hours that we'll be able to get it out of the silicone moulds a lot easier than we have been. We've had to leave it for 2-3 days before we can actually prise it out of the moulds. And then we've been putting finger marks into the moulds, so this should be able to fix it straight up. Just make sure we've got all that lye water. There we go. Right, those oils are all well combined. I'll give it a hit with the stick blender before I start colouring it. So I'm just coming to a light trace there. I'll add the titanium dioxide to give that nice base colour. Now the fragrance oil I'm going to add is blackcurrant licorice. So it's going to be a violet and then a purple base. A bit of my glove stuck in the button. Right, that's well mixed there, so we'll put the, is that violet or blue? That looks like blue to me, that's not violet. Right, let's fix that up. Last thing I want to do is put in the wrong colour. Okay, so we'll put in some violet. Now I want to make it darker than that, so I'm going to add some black. Using a pipette. Now I want about 2 mils. So it took ages to get the colours right. I was adding more black in to get a deeper colour. So I must have added about nearly 5 millilitres to get the darkness that I wanted. Now once I did that, I put the fragrance oil in and just blended that through. Starting to get a little bit thick, so I decided to blend the rest of the colour in by hand and adding a little bit as I needed. Still not dark enough. Just a final whisk in by hand, and there we go. It looks like licorice.
Alright, so let's get this in the mould before it thickens too much more.
So pouring into the mould is easy. These silicone moulds are so simple. Glad we added the yogurt in the form of sodium lactate. We now use proper sodium lactate solution, 60% solution to the lye water, and this helps release from the mould very quickly. So I'm just doing a little pattern on top there. Looks like a bit of a herringbone sort of thing there.
There we go, that's the effect I'm after. That'll do. Just to prevent any soda ash, and I know there's not a lot of bubbles, but that'll evaporate off. Now we'll see what that looks like tomorrow, and we'll see how hard it becomes and whether we can get it out of the mould. Alright, there we go, beautiful.
So you can see on top there's a bit of a surface crack. All I do is put a glove on and spray it with rubbing alcohol, and it just seals up the crack nicely. Just a little firm press down on it, and you can't tell it's there when you've cut the soap. So now we're going for the unmoulding. This was easier than I expected. The first couple of tries we had without yogurt and sodium lactate, it was quite sticky after 24 hours. It just would not release from the mould. I've actually got a sodium lactate video where I show how easy it is to get out of the mould once you've added it. Now you can leave it for a couple more days. We tend to find that it goes even stickier because the water can't evaporate. So here we are cutting up the soap in our proprietary homemade by Yours Truly soap cutter. Just using a wavy soap cutter there and cutting up all the bars. And as you can see, quite simple to do. Each bar is about 2.5 centimeters thick. We get about 10 bars out of each loaf. Just trim the end up there. So the bars look amazing and they smell fantastic. Black currant licorice. You can buy these bars in our shop. Just visit littlegreenworkshops.com.au, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see other videos like this. Thanks for watching. Bye.